two things happened during the last 2-3 years that are turning points. One just happened about 2 days ago, and that is the Abu Mazen decision not to run for elections. This is a major turning point, one that was preceded by one that has also been a very important event in Palestinian-Israeli relations, although it is a very Palestinian issue, and that is the Hamas takeover of Gaza. Hamas takeover of Gaza has unleashed new dynamics in Palestinian politics, leaving very negative consequences on domestic political issues, but surprisingly having highly positive outcomes, intended, unintended, on Israeli-Palestinian relations. In fact, leading to a great success for Abu Mazen. However, a few days ago, Abu Mazen realized that he has been the victim of his success. And he therefore decided he doesn't want it. He decided to destabilize the situation as a way to move forward. From this day on, Abu Mazen is completely changing his strategy. 2-3 years ago, his strategy was to stabilize the situation. Now he wants to do the opposite. So what I will do in the 15 minutes that Toni gave me is to explain to you why he's doing that and where we might be heading from here. So what did Abu Mazen do in the last few years? He did 4 things. One, he essentially delivered effective stability in the Palestinian area in the West Bank and in Israeli-Palestinian relations. He delivered unprecedented security for the Israelis. Thirdly, he strengthened ties with the US in a manner that we haven't seen during the last 9 years. And finally, he reformed Fatah. In fact, I would claim that Fatah is now resurrected from the dead. So let me say something about these 4 things that he had done. And I will be doing so fairly quickly because I can only give you sort of an outline of what these things meant. On effective stability, he delivered the following. And when I say he, obviously I mean he and the Palestinian Authority, that he had been restructuring. And that also means what Salam Fayyad has been doing during the last 2 years or so. First of all, he effectively strengthened the institutions of the Palestinian Authority so that today they are able to deliver greater services to the public than these institutions have been able to deliver in the past 16 years. Service delivery, strong public institutions is something that Fayyad and Abu Mazen team have been delivering. Secondly, we've never had better financial management than the one we have today. Thirdly, situation of anarchy that prevailed since 2000 has now been effectively ended. Palestinians feel it. When the elections took place in January of 2006, we asked voters how they feel about safety and their own safety and security under the Palestinian Authority. 25% said we feel safe and secure. Our last survey indicates that this percentage has now jumped to almost 60%. That's a significant achievement. Most of it has been delivered during the last 2 years. He also reformed the security services. The security services have never been as strong and better organized than they have been at any time, again, since 1993. Warlords have been terminated. They're no longer in the services. There is a chain of command that never existed before. The Palestinian security services, for the most part, with a few exceptions still remaining, are becoming more and more professional. They are much better trained than they were before. For the first time, there is full control by civilians. And security services actually carry out orders by civilian politicians. These are major achievements for this team. Fifth, I believe in the list of things that they've delivered, that they improved the justice system, although there's a lot to be done still. Courts are functioning. People actually resort to the justice system. Not everybody, but many people, a lot more than we have seen during the past 16 years, are now turning to the court system. The economic conditions have improved. And perhaps the best news for Fatah, when and if they go to the next elections, is that public perception of corruption has gone down considerably. On the eve of the elections in 2006, 90% or more of the public told us that the Palestinian Authority was corrupt. Today, the percentage is in the 60s. That's a significant achievement. And again, it's for the most part thanks to what Fayyad and Abu Mazen have done. Secondly, unprecedented security has been delivered, particularly during the last 2 years. This happened as a result of three things. One, there has been a crackdown, not on Hamas first, on Fatah first. About 1,000 armed men that were identified by the Israelis as wanted fugitives have now been disarmed. Some of them spent time in jail. Most of them are free today, and they can go home. But for the most part, when Fayyad took over, he made a deal with the Israelis, whereby these people were to be pardoned after they've been disarmed and after they've agreed to stop the violence. They've done that. Fatah, for the most part, does not have a militia in the West Bank. This is a major achievement. Arafat couldn't deliver that, certainly not throughout most of the period of the last 10 years or so. There has also been a crackdown on Hamas. Some 1,000 Hamas members are today in Palestinian jails. This has come at a cost. Enforcement of order didn't mean enforcement of law. Most of the 1,000 men have not seen a judge, have not been charged with anything. 3 out of 4 Hamas's infrastructures have been targeted. The military, for the most part, most of Hamas's military men are in jail. The financial infrastructure has been targeted effectively, again. The social infrastructure, although not all of it, but significant part of it has been targeted. The only infrastructure that has not been targeted is the political. Now, the reason that Abu Mazen and Fayyad and Fatah have been doing this isn't to please the Israelis. They're doing it because of what I started with, the first turning point that I've started with, which is the Hamas takeover of Gaza. In a survey we conducted among Fatah delegates to the 6th Congress, which took place last August in Bethlehem, 95% of the delegates identified Hamas as a violent coup d'etat movement. There is a great deal of threat perception and fear of Hamas that is reflected in the steps that have been taken so far.